So why did I choose to get married? Why did I do it? Man, why did I do it? That's the question. Some of y'all are out there and you might be wondering, should I get married? Some of you all might be married and you're wondering, did I make the right choice? Some of you might be in a relationship with a young lady right now and you're asking yourself, do I take this to the next level? How do I know if I should? There's a lot of questions that we have in our mind as men when it comes to marriage. And so, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it, share some of my story, and also just talk a little bit about the way society views marriage and the way that marriage among men typically is talked about. So, a lot of times when you think about marriage, you'll hear the old ball and chain analogy, right? Where as a man, when you get married, you're on lockdown. Some people paint it as if you have no life anymore. Whereas with women, it becomes this thing where it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like the picking up the dress and the venue, and all their girls get involved. It's like a huge thing. There's all of this attention put on the bride, and women just look forward to their wedding day. It's this huge thing. Where with some guys, it's not like that. It's not like that. And I've been seeing a lot of disturbing things on social media. I've been seeing a lot of interesting perspectives from guys. And I just want to talk about it a little bit. I want to talk about it a little bit. So, I would say for me, my view of marriage was a certain way based on the way that I grew up. I mean, both of my parents, they've been together for over 50 years at this point. So I grew up seeing a healthy marriage. Doesn't mean my parents were perfect. Doesn't mean that they didn't have any issues or they never had things they had to work through, because they did. Every marriage, every relationship does, right? So I grew up seeing that. But I did, at the end of the day, grow up seeing a man and a woman working through things together, right? So that said, though, it took me a long time to get to a space where I was ready to commit to somebody. That took a long time. I don't know about you all. Like, you all might be in a space, or you might have been in a space previously, where the thought of being with one woman for the rest of your life was just not something you could really understand. Like, how do I do that? Like, am I ready to do that? Is it the right person to be with for the rest of my life, right? And I had a long time before I got to that point. Um, I had some previous relationships that didn't work out for a number of different reasons. I have nothing negative to say about anybody from my past or any situation from my past. My view on things like that is I acknowledge the things that I did, and I never put anything on anybody else. And honestly, I was really immature. I was really immature for a long time. Like, a lot of us, we think that everything is about us. I mean, if we were honest about it, right? Like, if we were really honest about it, a lot of us are selfish. Like, we want what we want, you know, um, and it's a human nature thing. Like, I don't think that's necessarily just a man thing. Like, human nature is we can be selfish. Like, we want what we want. And being in a relationship took me years to learn this, is the exact opposite of that. If you're trying to do it a certain way, if you're trying to do it God's way, it's totally different from that. So, anyway, for a long time, I didn't understand that. So, I'm getting in relationships and, I'm dating people. It's not working out. Um, I'm being selfish. I'm not really considering other people's feelings the way that I should. I'm immature. I'm thinking that being a man is being the boss. I'm thinking that being a man, like, my whole idea of what manhood was or was supposed to be was warped. All right. And this was not because of the way I grew up. Like I said, I grew up in a strong household. My dad was a God fearing, strong, hardworking man. I had him as my role model. I had uncles as role models. And so it wasn't about that. It was when I left the house, and then I started getting exposed to different things as I got older. And so now I'm seeing different examples of manhood. And now I'm seeing things on movies, I'm hearing things in music, right? Like I'm getting different influences about what manhood is supposed to be. So now I'm carrying that into my relationships. And even, when I eventually met my now wife Octavia, when we first started dating, there are a lot of things that I had to learn. Um, I was still selfish. I didn't understand that a godly relationship is putting somebody else first. And so there's just a lot that I had to learn there. And as far as, what really happened and turned the corner on me wanting to get married, let me just get to it. So, why did I get married? So, it was a Sunday many, many years ago. And I was a club promoter in Dallas at the time. So, I was always on the scene, like Saturday nights, Friday nights, going out. And at this time, I had met Octavia a few years prior, actually at a day party event. It was an event that her and her friend were hosting. And so I had met her at this event. I noticed her as soon as I walked in the room. She was beautiful. I was like, man, who is that? Like, and I ended up introducing myself to her. We spoke briefly, but I was in a relationship at the time. So, I leave that day. We don't exchange numbers, anything like that. I just keep going on about my day. But we kept seeing each other when we were out and about all the time, right? So, it's this thing where you have this person kind of in the back of your mind, but it's just never gone anywhere. Like, it was that kind of situation, right? So, anyway, it's a Sunday. I'm at the house and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go watch the Cowboys game, right? Because, again, at this time, I'm out all the time. So, if it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like I'm out, I'm in the streets. So, I'm at my townhouse, I'm in the living room, and I remember just feeling this huge feeling of emptiness. I don't know how to really describe it, but you know, I had broken up with my ex, with my girlfriend at the time. It was a really bad breakup too. It things just didn't go well. Um, so that didn't go well. So I'm in a bad space with that. At the time, I'm meeting different women. I'm having different situationships, like you might call it, right? So not relationships, just you meeting somebody, y'all are hanging out, but no commitment there. Um, and I just felt empty. Like I'm sitting there in this living room and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my day, and I didn't want to do anything but just sit there. And I didn't know why, and I didn't know what it is. But what it was that I did not have anything at that time in my life of substance. I didn't have anything of substance in my life. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt like that, where you just feel like the bottom is kind of falling out. You're asking yourself, like, why am I here? What am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? You start asking those kind of questions. Like, those were the questions I was asking. And so I'm sitting there thinking about where I want to go. But then I realized I don't want to go anywhere. Like, I just want to sit there because I'm done. And then I started assessing my life. I started thinking through, like, man, I'm out every single weekend. I'm meeting women. I'm getting these numbers. I'm hanging out. I'm partying. But why do I feel so empty? Like, why do I feel so empty? Right. So fast forward a few weeks after that, and I just happened to be on Facebook one day and I noticed that Octavia's relationship status has changed from in a relationship to single. Because a few months prior, I had actually reached out to her after me and my ex had broken up. And, I just want to see what was up with her, right? Well, she was with somebody at the time. So now, fast forward to this time, now she's single. I see it on the Facebook timeline. I hit her with a DM, hit her with a message, right? So she responds, and then we agreed to meet at Malibu Grand Prix in Dallas. So met her up there, and that was our first date. And after that first date, as they say, the rest is history. We talked that night for probably 5 hours, 3 hours at the Grand Prix spot, and then we left there when they shut that place down and went to a restaurant, and we talked for like another 2.5, 3 hours after that. So we got engaged inside of a year, and then married a year after that. So why did I get married? When I think back on it, a lot of it was timing. I knew that something was missing in my life. Now, it wasn't just the relationship. I also at that time was not close to God at all. I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up going to church every single Sunday. Both of my parents serving in the church. Dad was a deacon and served the soundboard. My mom was a choir director. Like I could tell you all about church, all about that. But I wasn't on that at that time. I wasn't on that. Like God was missing from my heart. God was missing from my life. And so some of that emptiness that I felt, a lot of it was that too. So, I needed stability. I needed to come back to putting God first. I needed to come back to trying to walk more like Christ with my life, um, which that didn't really happen, honestly, that part until years after, even into my marriage. I'll talk about that on another video, but there were a lot of things missing. And so the stability, the other thing was friendship. A lot of guys, man, like we walk around here and we don't have friends. We don't have people to talk to. We don't have somebody to bounce ideas off of or talk to about our day. We don't have a shoulder to cry on. We don't have that because a lot of times we just try to be tough. We try to just tough it out. Whatever the thing is we're going through, we just gonna get through it, right? We're gonna man up and we're gonna get through it. That's how a lot of us view it. And that ends up being toxic. It ends up hurting us. So I realized with Octavia that I had a friend. I had somebody that I could actually talk to, and I didn't have to wear a mask. The masks were off. I could just be me. I could be myself. And that was freeing for me. That was very freeing for me. So I got married, I would say definitely for those reasons. But there are more. There's definitely more. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a second part of this video. I just wanted to start off with, I wanted to paint that picture of that day and what I felt and some of those initial feelings and initial reasons for when I realized that a switch turned and it was like, man, I think I'm ready to do this thing. I think I'm ready for something else in my life. So like you might have had a moment like that. You might have had a moment where something happens and you realize like, man, what I'm doing right now ain't it. Like this isn't it. Don't also feel pressured to get married either. Like that's the other thing. Don't feel like, the married guys have it all figured out and you should get married just because your friends are. Like, don't feel that way either. But you also don't want to be the old guy in the club, right? You don't want to be that guy in the 60s in the club trying to get girls numbers. Don't be that guy. Like don't be that guy. Okay? Um but hey, I don't judge anybody. I respect everybody. I'm just talking on my lived experience. And I hope that this helps somebody out there. Do me a favor, let me know in the comments. Is there anybody listening to this that feels like they're ready to get married? Is there anybody listening to this that's like, man, I'm never, it's just not gonna happen. I'm never getting married. I'm good. Is there anybody like that? Is there anybody that currently is married and you have any thoughts to share about marriage that you've noticed so far? Let me know. Let's get in the comments. Let's have a conversation. I'm gonna do a part 2 of this video with some more reasons why I chose to get married as well. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.